Hello, beautiful people, and welcome back to my channel. I'm Alexandria Ashcroft, and I'm a romance author. Today is day 5 in my 7 days of Sinn little online series here where we go behind the pages, behind the mind of my newest novel, Sinnful. So this little series is This series is a count up or a countdown, however you want to look at it, to Valentine's Day, which is when I launched the prequel, I guess, to this story called Lacey's Sinn, which is available for free on my website and Wattpad. Today's topic is show, not tell. So I feel like this topic comes up all the time, and there is a tremendous amount of confusion around it. People say it a lot. They kind of throw it around a lot when they're editing or proofreading or beta reading somebody's content, but they don't actually explain what they mean by it or go into enough detail to like make the comment helpful. So this is me kind of explaining how I understand show not tell to be. If you have another understanding of show not tell and you want to share it, please leave a comment below and let me know the best way that you use to explain show not tell. So the best way that I communicate show not tell is I say this. I first preface it with, you need both showing and telling in order to create a well-paced and descriptive and intriguing and interesting story. So you need both of these things. One isn't bad. I feel like people often, when they leave comments and they're like, you're not showing it, or no, you're not showing and telling, or something they say, like something similar to that, or you're not showing, you're telling. And they kind of like demonize telling, but you really need telling. So I always use an example. And I also have an example that I picked out from my story Sinnful to further show you how I use showing to help add depth, meaning, and emotional connection to my storyline, my plot, and my characters. So the example that I always use a really simple example. So telling would be what it sounds like. You're simply telling somebody that something has happened or is happening. So for example, Sarah is angry. That's telling. I'm telling you that Sarah is angry. Showing allows the reader to come to their own conclusions. And there's benefits to allowing the reader to come to their own conclusions. One of the benefits is when people are able to come to their own conclusions, or able to use their own imagination, their own intellect and understanding, they're more apt to connect to your story, connect to your characters, connect to the situation. And when readers connect, it pulls them along the plot and the story, and they want to know more, they want to read more. So turning Sarah is angry into a sentence where we're showing and not telling would be something like this. Sarah's eyebrows pulled together, and she balled her fists at her side as the heat rushed from her middle up to her face. So the difference there is, first of all, people can relate better when there are things happening, right? Saying that someone is angry, okay, everyone's been angry before, so they'll understand that. But it has deeper meaning when you can like basically describe what somebody might appear like or what somebody might look like when they become angry, because then your reader imagines their eyebrows pulled together. They imagine them balling their hands at their fists and heat filling them up. They can react or feel the character's actions or emotions and feel like that frustration or that rage or that anger or whatever you're trying to share with your reader. So we want our readers to be invested in our content. At least I do, because when we say storytelling, we're not just telling a story. So if you think about somebody who's really good at telling stories, that you're intrigued whenever they start telling a story, you're immediately hooked. Even if the story really doesn't have, like a real interesting like plot or something, you're still really intrigued by the way that they tell the story. And often when they tell the story and they're a good storyteller, they're descriptive. Showing is descriptive. So as you can tell by the example that I used, Sarah is angry. 3 words. The description that I used for showing, which I forgot exactly what I said, but it's far more than 3 words, right? It's very descriptive. You get a visual. You often tap into multiple senses, right? You get a visual. You can see her eyebrows coming together, her fists at her side. That the feeling of heat rushing through your body. Your face might be turning red. Your ears or something might be turning red. Like you're tapping into these different senses, and like it's descriptive. So you use description to call out attention to something that you want the reader to focus on. That power, I guess, to draw somebody's attention to something by slowing the pace of the story, by being really descriptive, by investing words into something is a power. It's powerful, and shouldn't be used willy-nilly. So when people are like, oh, you need to show more and then, and tell less, that's not a very good critique, because you should show more where you want your readers to focus. So if everything is telling, then nothing stands out. You're not bringing attention to anything because everything is telling. And the same goes for showing. If everything is showing, then everything is standing out, so nothing is standing out. The reader doesn't know where the focus of the story is. They don't know what information is important and what is going to move the plot forward. They don't know what to focus on, because you're describing everything. So that's kind of like where I say, with great power comes great responsibility. And you want to make sure that you're using that power in a way that develops your characters, which we talked about characters a couple of days ago. The showing should develop your characters, push your plot or a subplot along to add more understanding and depth to your story, your plot, the focus of the journey that your characters are going on. And if the description doesn't do that, it doesn't help move your audience into a better understanding of your characters or the plot or the direction of the story, probably don't need it. Since I spent a whole bunch of time on showing, now I'm going to dip a little bit into telling, and I'll read my excerpt. Telling is necessary to move the story along. If we spend a lot of time describing everything down to the ant's butt, like, you'll be there forever. And I've read stories like that, okay? I've read stories that are like so descriptive, and you're like, what does this have to do with the price of tea in China? What is this story about? Free me of the story. And that really happened. Required reading in high school. A lot of that happened. Okay, so we're just gonna let that go. That we're not gonna dwell on that. But yeah, be specific and intentional about items that you show, and also be mindful of things that you tell. Like, you don't want to tell and blow past a part of the story that's really important, or you know, an event or something that happened in the character's life that's important to the story. You don't just want to blow past it. You want to be precise and be intentional about what you show and what you tell. And when you go through the edits, make sure that you're using those two. There's a word. Tools. Ha! Using those tools in a way that enhances your story. So, yeah, I went through all my points. I'm just gonna go right here and read my example of showing. So this is my example of showing. I feel like telling is pretty apparent, and I'll probably make another video and some other point in time about timing and pacing. I feel like a lot of the writer's content that I've reviewed in the past is timing and pacing were huge questions. Like, and there isn't necessarily a right answer to that, but there are some tips and tricks that I can share at a later time with that. So this is an excerpt from Sinnful. And, okay. She frowned and found his eyes over her shoulder, and tears started to cloud hers. Devlin, she broke off, turning her attention back to her pot. She fell silent and pulled away from him. In this excerpt, Lacey's feeling multiple emotions at this point. And simply saying she was sad, or she was frustrated, or she was disappointed wouldn't do any justice to the actual situation and the depth of the moment. So this particular part of the story is a moment for Lacey and Devlin where they are connecting with each other. And this is a difficult time, a difficult moment, a difficult thing for Lacey to admit to and to acknowledge. And so simply saying that she was some emotion, she was sad, or she was upset, or she was frustrated or irritated or whatever, wouldn't really do a lot of justice to pulling a deeper feeling, emotion out of this moment. And I feel like those series of actions. So she frowns first. She frowned, and then she looks at him over her shoulder, and then tears start to cloud her eyes. So she's not crying yet, but the tears are building behind her eyes, and he's witnessing all these things. He's seeing her eyebrows frown up. He's seeing, her eyes start to water. And like simply saying she cried, or, simply like telling something so simple as she cried, wouldn't pull the type of emotion out of Devlin as we want to. He sees her hurting, and that does something to him. So that's kind of like, I'm really trying hard to explain it, and it's a little challenging to explain. She broke off. So she starts saying something, but she stops. So you see, and before that, we're saying the tears are welling up in her eyes, and then she starts to talk, and then she stops. Like she cuts herself off because she has a sniffle, or she's choked up. Like it's something that's really literally took the words out of her mouth. Like she's speechless in that moment. She turns her attention back to her task. So she's looking at him, she's going through this painful moment, and then she looks away from him. So she can't look at him. Like, this thing that is troubling her is so deep that she can't even hold eye contact with him. She's speechless. She's lost for words. So, like, those actions really, in my humble opinion, pull a lot of emotion and ask a lot of emotion and connection from your audience when they read it. It asks a lot of empathy from your audience when they read it. So that's why I say be mindful of when you use your showing talents and you're just being descriptive and you're requesting your audience to share in something that's deep and potentially painful, but also beautiful at the same time, because she's able to open up to him about something that's really painful. And that says something about their connection and their growth as a couple. So I think that's all I had to say at this point in time about show versus tell. I mean, there's so much more that one could go over, and I might in a later video just to help out my other fellow writers. But that's all I had to say. If you're interested in buying Sinnful, if you're interested in purchasing Sinnful, paperback and ebook versions are available through my website and Amazon. So Amazon has both ebook and paperback along with my website. And the ebook version and paperback versions are other places as well. So Barnes & Noble, Kobo, iBooks, just various locations. So check your favorite retailer. Yeah, check your favorite retailer and snag Sinnful. So then the last thing we're going to do is a trivia question. So I've had trivia questions that I've been sharing on video. And then there's a trivia survey that's going to be linked in the description that has all of the trivia questions for this whole event that you can answer. And every correct question enters you into winning prizes. Awesome. So this mug is a prize, ebook versions of Sinnful. I've got a couple of t-shirts with some quotes from Sinnful on it as well. So I'm going to grab our trivia question for the day. Ooh. 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 Ooh, this might be a more challenging one. The answer to this question is actually going to be on my Instagram. So you might have to scroll, okay? You might have to scroll, but it's there. Most, if not all, of the questions are available for free on my website because I have Lacey Sinn, One Night of Sinn, and over half of Sinnful available for free on my website. Just to let you know. But the answer to this question is going to be on my Instagram account. The question is, what is Devlin and Lacey's astrological signs? So I did share this on one of my posts on Instagram. You can scroll and find the answer on my Instagram account. And while you're there, go ahead and follow me, because I post regularly and I love interacting and hearing from you guys there. If you like this video and you found it interesting or helpful, give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you're not already subscribed. Thank you so much for your time. Have a great day. Bye.